try out life in a 9,000-year-old city.
Helen, I think we should get out, mate.
We're journeying from Europe to Asia on a road trip through Turkey, a country with some of the most amazing ancient ruins on Earth.
But on today's adventure, we'll be travelling back in time and finding out just how lucky we are not to live in the Stone Age.
It's really smoky in there.
Our first stop is Ephesus, on the Aegean coast, once the capital of Asia.
If you want to know what life was like 2,000 years ago when the ancient Greeks and Romans were in their prime, this is one of the best places in the world to visit. Most of the ruins that are still standing today are from the Roman period. Among them, there's this, a massive amphitheatre that held huge events like gladiator fights. Now, this would have held about 25,000 spectators. That's bigger than some of the UK's biggest concert venues like the O2 Arena in London, and that was built 2,000 years later. But for me, here's something they didn't get quite right. This, a public toilet block. Has anybody got any loo roll? Anybody? Yeah, this place is pretty ancient, but it's not as old as the place we're about to go to. It's 9,000 years old. And the best thing about it is, it's still being discovered. Leaving Ephesus, we travelled to a place called Catalhoyuk in the heart of Turkey, where 50 years ago, archaeologists stumbled across something amazing.
On a hillside, they unearthed the remains of a massive 9,000-year-old site.
Welcome to one of the oldest cities on Earth.
It looks like a spaceship, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Catalhoyuk is one of the most exciting archaeological digs in the world. 250 archaeologists, many of them British, have spent the last 16 years painstakingly looking for clues to help them piece together a picture of what life was like in this ancient city.
And they've reached house number 80. No one knows what secrets could lie within these remains. It's time for Blue Peter to find out.
Look at that.
Look at that. That's a city. It's a 9,000-year-old city.
There's a lot of it, considering how old it is. Like the walls and stuff.
Where do you reckon the local kebab shop was?
Right there next
Right
to
there.
the
Yeah.
Well, if we were going to find out the answer to this, we needed to do some detective work. It's thought that House 80 burned down and was used as a rubbish dump, so we had to sort through it. Doing the bins.
Mate, rubbish man.
9,000-year-old garbage is actually gold dust to archaeologists. Finding out what people threw away tells you lots about how they lived. But you have to know what you're looking for.
How do you know what's actually an artefact and what's just like rubbish like that? Is that an
Well,
artefact? Did I found something?
yeah, it's a tiny little bit of bone.
I just found some bone. Of who? Of what, do you think?
It's too small to identify that, I'm afraid.
It's my first archaeological find. I'm gonna get that.
All right, show off. I found some bone too. I can't believe I've broken it. Knowing mine that this will turn out to be the most important bone here. 8,000 to 9,000 years ago is called the Neolithic period, which came at the end of the Stone Age. It was a time of great change in the way humans lived. Instead of wandering around alone hunting and gathering food, humans started to live together in groups, building houses, making tools and farming. Some of the most amazing discoveries at Catalhoyuk wouldn't look out of place today. These 9,000-year-old clay figures are prehistoric art. They're giving archaeologists clues about life here and the sorts of animals that were around at the time. I think that looks like an aardvark or an anteater or something. He's got a big nose. I'm not sure if you had them around here at that time. I'm going to turn her around. That's a bit rude, bless her. And I still maintain that that's a Scotty dog.
One of my finds was a piece of glass-like black volcanic rock called obsidian. Fragments of obsidian have been found all over the site, and it seems to have had lots of different uses at Catalhoyuk.
These
are arrowheads. This would have been used, we mainly think, for hunting. These are razor sharp blades, and I mean that. When this stuff is freshly worked, it's sharper than surgical steel. It's the main raw material they're using. Don't forget, not only is this before they've invented the wheel, it's before we've got metal working. So obsidian is what everybody's using in their household. Imagine a sack full of this stuff being dragged back on your back for a couple of days over 180 miles. That's a lot of work.
They're impressive people, aren't they?
I was discovering something quite chilling about life and death in this city. This is a bone store, and each one of these crates is full of human bones. The reason there's so many bones here is because the people of Catalhoyuk buried their dead underneath their houses. Freaky.
The archaeologists have pieced together some clues about life here 9,000 years ago, but there are still a lot of things they want to find out.
They've built a replica of what they think house number 80 would have been like, and they asked us to test it out. We would be the first people ever to cook a Neolithic meal and spend the night here.
This is nice.
Yeah, quite mosquitoes.
Really nice. We've got loads of food, nuts, spices, chilies and beans. The archaeologists think the entrance was through the roof and that the houses didn't have windows. They suggested we put up a chimney to stop our house filling up with smoke when we burnt our fuel. Poo. That's the fuel for our fire.
I can smell poo.
Doug, it is poo. Seeing as you've got accustomed with it, just get your hands in and shove some in the fire.
This is great, right? So you know how to do the fire, and I'm doing all the...
Let's talk more speed. Oh, it stinks.
I'm going for the pistachios ground on toast. No, just... Sorry, there's the pistachios roasted with herbs.
Yeah, we could do that, we could do that.
Andy, your help is minimal. You're lying on a bed.
I'm thinking of something creative to make. We can make that pistachio and herbs thing. That sounds quite cool.
Now we can use that one modern item, the map.
I'm hoping that this man-made chimney works.
We need a bit more oxygen in it, don't we? Oh, come on. If we had a newspaper, this would be so much easier.
What about if I sort of go like that?
No, hang on. No, you don't.
I didn't do that. That was Andy.
Oh, come on, whatever.
Oh, shouldn't it?
If they can do it 9,000 years ago, we've got the internet. We should be able to do it.
This isn't looking good, is it? You're doing well, Helen, though.
Well, thanks for your help, Joel.
You just have pistachio nuts and herbs and not cook anything. Are you using our rug to light the fire?
Yeah, kind of got no option, really.
Should we try the cheap sheepskin as well?
The thing is now to keep this burning because we're running out of matches.
Guys, when I don't eat, I get weak. When I get weak, I get tired.
Does that mean you get quiet?
No.
It took long enough and I was ravenous, but finally we had it lit.
Brilliant! Look, you got fire!
Hang on, where's Oh, yeah, let's high-five it.
Let's all put in. No.
High
Wouldn't do
five.
that in Neolithic time. Do this. No, we'll touch it. Shall I go and hunter-gatherer? Shall I be a hunter-gatherer? You get some twigs?
Do it.
Okay.
Bring back a pizza.
Try and break up the pistachio, see if we can get a few nuts whirring. Got a few herbs here. Whack them in, see what goes on.
But all that was going on was a shed load of smoke. It was all starting to go horribly wrong.
Helen, I think we should get out, mate. Helen, come on. Right.
It's really smoky in there.
Mate.
We put the chimney in though, didn't we?
Well, why is it not coming out the chimney but somewhere else?
So smoky.
With our experiment not even lasting the night, we clearly weren't up to Neolithic standards. The mystery of how they lived their lives 9,000 years ago is still unsolved.
What are we going to do?
Well, there is one other option.
No, I don't.
I'm not sleeping.
I got the floor. I'm
Our 1970s camper van and all its mod cons had suddenly become the most comfortable place in the world.